So I'm quite late to the party with this one, but I just wanted to go through the basic changes to the drone rules in 2026 and what that means to you. So this isn't going to be like a super deep dive into all the gritty details of the drone changes. This is just going to be what this means to you, your drone, and where you can fly it. So really, I think a lot of you are going to be flying DJI Mini Drones, the Mini 2, 3, 4, and essentially there's no real changes there in terms of where you can fly your drone. You're going to still benefit from being able to pretty much fly a drone wherever you want, as long as you're not taking it down the runway at Heathrow or over the fence at a military base or something ridiculous like that. You can still fly it close to people, over people in urban areas, just not over crowds. Nothing really changes there. The only key difference with that is that now any drone over 100 grams, you need to get a flyer ID to be able to fly. It's a super simple process. You just log on to the CAA website. The address is somewhere. I'll leave it in the description below. And it's like a 40-question multiple choice quiz. It's super easy. It's worth doing anyway because it helps you brush up on your sort of knowledge of where you can and can't fly, what's legal, what's not. It can be done in like half an hour or something. It's a really easy process. So just go out and do that before 1st of January 2026. Now, the other key difference with the drones under 250 grams and all drones that you're going to fly is that now you will need to be transmitting your remote ID on that drone from 1st of Jan 2026. And that basically means that you are transmitting basically who you are and where you are and where you're flying that drone. So it's sort of, if you're being a bit naughty with your drone, then you are going to have to watch out from that date and when you are transmitting your remote ID if you do decide to do that. And again, it's a really simple process. You just need to go into your operator ID account in the CAA website, and there's now a bit in there that shows you your remote ID. It's like a long code, and all you do is you take that code and then you paste it into I think it's into the actual drone. You might have to update the firmware to be able to do this. And then that's it, it's done. So really no great changes to the drones under 250 grams. You just need to go out and get your flyer ID if you haven't already got it, and get that remote ID number and get it into your drone, and you're set. Now, one of the major and most exciting, I guess, changes for me is that the DJI Air 3S, which is an excellent drone but a bit bigger, now falls into essentially the same category as the mini drones, so the under 250 gram drones. So this is under 900 grams, and that's the limit for this new category. And you can go out and fly it in a very similar way to your drones that are under 250 grams. So that just means you've got a much better camera. You can take it into built-up areas. You can fly it close to people, close to buildings, close to vehicles. Again, you've got to make sure that you're following the sort of airspace restrictions and all that kind of normal stuff. But it's amazing that this has been opened up to people. Now, one thing I would note is that, it's always been the case that with drones, you have to make sure that you're not being reckless or endangering anybody with them. And you can liken it to driving a car, okay? You can get done for reckless and dangerous driving, and it's the same with a drone, okay? If you injure somebody or cause a problem for an aircraft or something like that, you can get done for that. So bear that in mind. And with an Air 3S, it is a bigger drone, and the propellers, are a bit more dangerous, a bit more cutty maybe to the skin. So just bear that in mind and don't be stupid with your drones. So if you've got a larger drone like a Mavic 3 Pro, which is over that 900 gram limit, it gets maybe slightly more complicated, and it's where an A2 CFC really will come into play. So if you've got one of those larger drones, after 1st of January 2026, it's very similar. You have to stay 150 meters away from built-up areas and people, 50 meters away from people, etc. Now, there's a key change that's come in that means, for me, I will probably be looking at getting an A2 CFC. I've got a GVC and operational authorization already, but the A2 CFC will mean I can fly my Mavic 3 Pro in low speed mode, which is essentially cine mode set to 3 meters per second, within built up areas up to 5 meters away from people. Now, 5 meters is nothing in drone terms. So that really opens up possibilities and options for me. One clear caveat for that is that you cannot overfly people with an A2 CFC and that size of drone whatsoever, which does make it a little bit tricky in urban environments. It is very hard to not overfly people. Now, a little note on class markings. Most modern drones have these class markings. So this Mavic 3 Pro has its class marking of 2, a little sticker on the side there. So that's all kind of ready to go in terms of these new regulations. This Mini 4 Pro has a class marking of 0 on the sticker there. Now, I think there's some older Mavic 3s that weren't class marked when, that people bought when they first came out. But I believe that you can apply to DJI for them to send you the correct stickers and the kind of registration or whatever to make those class marked. Now, if you have an older drone that's not class marked and you can't get class marked, then you will fall into the legacy categories. And essentially, I would just recommend upgrading your drone if you have a drone that old to one of the newer models. And that's essentially it. I mean, not much has changed for the worse. Unless you consider RID and having to get a flyer ID particularly bad. But what that has done is opened up using larger drones with better cameras in more kind of built up spaces and closer to people. So in my mind, that's an absolute win.